button here and we're recording. And welcome. This is Dr. Raymond Harlall, and today I have Prince Michael, and he's part of our World Civility Presidential Club, founded by myself and Sir Clive Rivers. And Prince Michael have an amazing initiative, and he's going to be the one to tell us all about it today. So Michael, what's your initiative? And first, actually tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into your initiative.
All right. Well, hello, world. My name is Prynce Michael. I am the author of the book, No Time Like the Present. I like to look at myself as a humanitarian. And the reason that I say that is because I'm always looking for a way where I can better human civilization in any way, shape, form, or fashion, specifically to our youth, so to speak. And for the past few years, I have just been creating and building the platform that we're actually going to discuss today. And I'm really excited about it because I've realized that for so long, we have taken the driver's seat in our youth's lives. And I believe that it's time for us to relinquish those keys and relinquish those rights and say, hey, let you tell us how is the best way to serve you. So part of what I do is I started what I do in Daytona Beach, Florida, which is where I previously lived. And I just realized that there was a need for civility there. So that's why I started doing it.
That is phenomenal. I have to mute because the landline was just ringing. Excellent. And tell me what your initiative is.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And what and your passion that drive you to create that initiative. You said Daytona Beach, so let's elaborate in that.
Okay, so my initiative is creating civility through socioeconomic systems. So the reason that I actually got into that is for a very simple reason. I grew up in a very impoverished area in Miami, Florida. And for so long, I was taught the same way that I'm pretty sure that a lot of other individuals were taught, which was go to school. I did that. I was an honor student, AP student when advanced placement actually came into play. I went to college. I have the biology degree. Everyone told me to do that. So I did what I was told. I followed a system of what I was being told. But I wasn't told what to do afterwards. I was just told to get a job. And when I graduated, I quickly realized that it wasn't as easy as everyone told me that it was. So I found myself just in a predicament where I became homeless. And after I was able to climb out of that, I started volunteering for the Department of Children and Families. I also started volunteering as a mentor, that is, for an alternative school because I just wanted to make a difference in the next generation's lives. And I met this young man. He was 15 years old at the time, and he had an ankle bracelet. He had been labeled as an alternative student, a bad apple. And I said, okay, I want him. And when I met him, he was a little bit rough around the edges, but I asked him, I said, well, how did you end up here? I said, because you seem like you're so intelligent, so smart. How did you end up here? And he explained to me that he was changing grades from the computer and he was changing other students' grades. And I said, wow. I said, well, how in the world did you learn how to do that? And he said, well, no one taught me. I just know it. I said, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm pretty sure someone had to show you how to do it. And he said, no one showed me. I just know how to read the code. I understand it. He said, matter of fact, I can control your computer from the computer that I'm on. I can show you. And he did it, and I was astounded. I'd never seen someone with such raw talent as this young man. And I quickly realized that there are so many other people that are out there, especially our youth, that have been labeled and mislabeled, as I would say, And the only thing that they need is just guidance. So
Mm,
I decided to start mentoring, and then what eventually turned into now a global movement to empower our youth to be able to take their life and to do what they want to do with it, and to be able to steer their life in the fashion that they want. So here we are. And I'm very passionate about that, just simply because no one actually did that for me. I had to figure all this stuff out. I want to be able to lay the blueprint down so that they actually have some system that they can follow for them to be able to meet their goals.
that's a phenomenal story, and we see this happening everywhere. And that grade alone or behavior alone is not a way to segregate kids and say you're bright and you're dunce and you go at the back of the line. That's really good. And empowering. What's your initiative again?
Creating socioeconomic systems. Um,
Excellent.
mhm.
And can you go into, because not everybody know what socioeconomic systems is.
Okay. So basically, what that means is that, just like I said, we were all taught pretty much the same thing: go to school, get good grades, get out of school, go to college, and get out and get a safe, secure job. However, most people don't, once they go to school, most people are not book savvy, as I like to say. They're not academically inclined. So there are some times where you may meet someone that is more artistic than someone else. You may meet someone that has a knack for just becoming an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I realized is that every country can use more economics. Every country can
That's
utilize
it.
more money. And I decided that why not show our youth how to create their own businesses, to be able to boost their own economies, to be able to hire, to be able to run their own countries, control their own lives. And by doing so, you're creating jobs, and creating jobs boosts the economy. So, and imagine doing that all around the world in every single country. Not one country, if following that, not one country following that would end up in a deficit like we are here in America. The reason that we see deficits and things like that in America and other places is just simply because we have failed to be able to create more socioeconomics here. So by doing so, we are allowing different countries as well as our own country to be able to stand on our own 2 feet and help the next generation to get to where they want to go.
Wow, that's really good. And I think maybe you can touch on the problem that gets to that a little bit without being too political. And it's usually the policies are kind of out of whack, or people don't understand
Mhm.
that you can create new policies or lobby for new policies or move from that area to a new area that has policies that are more favorable to you. And so if
Mhm.
you can touch on that.
Yes. So basically, we can't fix a problem with the same thinking that created it. So if you look at the world today, you'll notice that all of the individuals, for the most part, about 90% of individuals in any country that you go to, their leaders are old. So you have people that are in different positions of leadership
Mm-hmm.
that have outdated thinking, so to speak. And not to say that all of their thinking is wrong, their thinking can just be improved.
Yes.
And anytime that we are in a situation, we can always have room for improvement. But most times what happens is we think that we can fix a problem by using that same thinking that once created it. So in order to be able to fix anything, we have to create a new mind. Our generation that we have now, our youth, they are our new mind. They are seeing that there are ways for them to be able to create different type of economics through creating their own businesses. If you look at the world now, 15 to 20 years ago, there was no Facebook. If you look, there was no Instagram, there was no Snapchat, there was no Uber, there was no Lyft. However, now, even if you look at our cell phones are even different. When we first started out, we had these huge cell phones, and then now everything that we need is in the palm of our hand. We can access the internet, we can write papers, we can do every single thing from our cell phone, but who created that?
Mm.
The person who actually created the newest model of cell phones, they were young when they did it. The person who created the newest platform for us to be able to connect with friends, as they call it, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, he was a new mind. We have to have new minds in order for us to be able to move ourselves forward. If we do not allow ourselves to move forward with our thinking, then we will always be in a stagnant place. And it doesn't matter in what country you are, your mind is the most powerful thing that you possess, which is also one of the first things that I teach in Philosophies by Prynce.
Wow, that's amazing. And let's go into the Philosophies by Prynce.
So my program, which is called Youth of Probability, it has 3 different portions. Originally, I had 7. However, I thought about it. I was once 14, 15, and 16 years old. I don't want to do 1,000,001 steps. If you can condense that down and show me how I'm going to be able to get the meat and potatoes and go out and do exactly what you just showed me how to do, I want to do that. And that's exactly what I did. I condensed the Philosophies by Prynce to 3 major sequences. And that is, you have to master your mind, which is the first thing. The second, you have to control your voice, because the person that controls your voice controls you.
Mm.
And then last but not least, you have to live your dreams unapologetically. So when you think about the first thing, master your mind, we have been conditioned to have ourselves and to think that we think the thoughts of what other people want us to think. We think that we are supposed to have outdated thinking in our mind. That's what we do. We have become the image of what other people think of us. When we were younger, we became the image of what our parents thought of us. Once we got to school, it was what our friends thought of us. And for so long, we have become the image of what other people have thought of us, to the point where we lose our own self-image. We lose our own train of thought. Many times you'll hear something called peer pressure. The reason that people have peer pressure is simply because someone else's beliefs or someone else's thoughts are being able to be pushed off on you. If you master your mind and create a new mind, now your thinking is different. Now you're able to see opportunities when you once didn't. Now you're able to move your life in an upward and forward motion when you once weren't able to. And that's just simply because you have learned to master your mind. Even in the Bible, it says that. So the next thing that you do is you have to control your voice. I was at a seminar once and I heard one of the speakers. He was a phenomenal speaker. And he said once that he was actually doing a speaking engagement for a different company that he was working for at the time. He was an hourly employee, so per hour he was getting paid a salary. And when he would get his salary, he looked at it and he said, wow, okay, so I just made $500 for being here for X amount of hours to be able to do the speaking engagement. After he said that, you know what, I think I'm better than the salary that they're paying me, he decided to start speaking on his own behalf. He realized how much more his voice was once he went ahead and he started to follow his own path. He decided to step out on his own faith, step out on what he wanted to do. So going forward, he decided that he was going to start speaking himself. He realized that now, not only did I get the 500 that they just paid me, I just got paid 5,000 to do the exact same job, the exact amount of hours that I did over here. He said, the person that controls your gift controls you. And I said, I said, I don't even think it's that. I think it's the person who controls your voice is who controls you. And we have to teach our youth how to control their own voice in order for them to be able to move forward. Then the last thing that I teach is something that many individuals would love to do, but very few actually do it, which is why the world doesn't have that many billionaires, that many millionaires. And that is live your dreams unapologetically. And what that means is that if you are going to start a business, if you are going to start something, you finish it. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter about what someone thinks of you, how someone thinks of you, if they think that you're going to be successful. And that's just simply because it's not their dream. It's not their goals. It's not their ambitions. It's yours. You cannot expect someone else to have the same fire and the same passion that you do about what you want to do, because it was not given to them. It was given to you.
That's incredible. Those 3 steps are amazing. The first one is the mastering the mind, then be careful of what you say and who control your voice, and then just live your dream life, so to
Mhm.
speak. That's you need to write a book on those alone. Yeah, I highly recommend uh, people, young people, taking that course. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, what have you? How does civility play into your movement?
So, how civility plays into the movement is actually very simple, and that is everyone deserves the opportunity to have a life that they want. So civility was built around the golden rule, which was do unto others as you would have others to do unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that this is the exact same thing. Every person from 0 to 18 deserves the opportunity to control their own life. Most times what happens is we'll find a child or we'll find someone and we'll automatically label them and say, well, this person they're not academically inclined, they're not smart. This person, oh, they love to draw, but that's not going to get them anywhere. We have to be able to allow them to be able to hold and to host their own life, to handle their own life. And if we guide them into the way that they're supposed to go, it is the same thing as being able to do unto others as you would have others to do unto you. So we have to get back to the basics. We have to start to look at our children, our youth, and see exactly where are their weak points? Where are their strong points? Because every youth has more strong points than they do weak. But it's only when we fail to identify them, when we create we create individuals that we're like, who in the world is this person?
Yeah,
So we have to get back to the basics. And that's how civility plays a part in this.
that's phenomenal. And how does your narrative impact? How do you see it impacting future generations, like generations to come after we're both gone? That's why we're actually compiling a book, so a book lives forever.
Mhm. So there's a reason that rich people are rich. There's a reason that wealthy people are wealthy. And most times, let's just use America, for example, because that's where I live. You'll have someone that says that they want to win the lotto. That is a once in a lifetime chance. I'll just say it that way. However, if we created something for our kids and for their children and for their children's children, we not only impact the generation that we are with now, but we have something that we can pass down to them. It's the same if you think of a family heirloom. It's the same if you think of a family business. When you think of our youth, the system that we have now is outdated. We have to be able to impart something else into them. And right now, this is the way that we can impart into them. Our youth are seeing more and more every single day that going to school, getting good grades, and then getting out, getting a safe, secure job, being able to save your money and then living off of the interest. That's an outdated way of thinking. But many people still push that narrative. Even when you look at our school systems are not teaching money. Our school systems don't teach you about taxes. Our school systems don't teach you any of that. I read something once before and it says, your children cannot inherit your job. So therefore, if you really think about it, what can your children inherit? Your children can inherit the knowledge that you've given them. Your children can inherit a business that you have built or a business system that you have built. When you look at now, we have so many different things at the touch of our fingers. We have we have different things that have been created through recessions. And recessions, nothing's supposed to be happening if you think about it. So when you have people that will go out and will form businesses, form new minds, because a new mind is a right mind. A new mind will push us forward. A new mind is going to be able to help us in ways that the mindsets that we have now are not. So if we create new minds, that new mind is continuously passed down. When you look at great events that has happened throughout history, all of that information is continuously passed down. You look at the Boston Tea Party, it's always passed down. You can look at the slave trade, it's all passed down. So stories are always going to continuously keep being passed down. Why not change your family's story and create one that is going to help your next generation? And that's what we're doing now.
Wow, that's so powerful. Any famous quote that you live by, or by your role model or somebody that influences you?
Yes. So there's a quote. I read it in a book. It's called Abundance Now. It's by one of the best motivational speakers. Her name is Lisa Nichols, and she says something that, oh my gosh, it's actually two quotes. And the first one was, "Scarcity is a choice." And when I read that, it literally blew my mind. And that was just simply because most times people will operate in a scarcity mindset without even knowing it. Their mind will be so conditioned to having lack that they don't even realize that there is so much abundance that's waiting for them. They don't even realize that they are sitting on their blessing. They don't realize that they are sitting on their future. So that's one quote that I always live by. And there was another thing that I read in her book, the same book, Abundance Now. And I don't know it verbatim, but basically what she said in the book is that do not expect your family and your friends to support your dream. Your dream is your dream. And the moment that you release them of that obligation and you allow your family to be your family and your friends to be your friends and your business partners to be your business partners, you will then be able to know what true balance and happiness is in your life.
That is incredible. Any last words or summary as we close up?
The one thing that I will say is very simple, and that is we have to take care of our next generation. If we fail to take care of our next generation, then we are doomed to repeat history again. History has a way of repeating itself. We've all heard it. But why not allow history to repeat itself in the most magnificent way possible? Create the life that you want tomorrow, today.
Incredible. That's a mic drop. All right. That's amazing. I want to thank you so much for being on and for this interview. And we'll get just a minute here. I'm going to end the recording and we're going to continue.